She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Hummel, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And today we are going to be talking about Marty Supreme.
AKA Marty Mauser. And if you think about it, flip it around, Willy Wonka. We've been waiting so long to say that.
Correction, she's been waiting a really
I
long
have
time
been
to
waiting
say this.
so long to say that. Almost an entire week. It's been killing me.
So it's finally
Anyways.
come out. I think this was a really big movie that people were anticipating for 2025, and it's one of the last ones to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's
Kind of shaking up the game here. I think it rightfully so. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm excited to talk about it. Even
So-
if it's a little bit late, it's okay.
yeah. I don't think we're
it'll buff.
relatively that late. I think that there is a really slow rollout here. So I think we might be just about around the time that I think general audiences are getting access to
Yeah.
this movie
Yeah.
in a big way. So, you know, what you gonna do? But we're here now. And hopefully those watching have seen it as well and have thoughts to share with us.
Yeah.
So before we get too deep into the episode, vibe check. How are you doing over there? How are the vibes?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay. The last two times I've worn my hair up in something like this or a ponytail, I've gotten a migraine and I already feel it coming on. So probably the second this episode ends, I'm gonna take this out. But anyways, y'all don't need to see that when it comes out. It'll be a little crazy. So yeah. Here's to me having a migraine by the end of the video. Again. It's okay. What about you?
I'm vibing. I've had a very typical morning. There's a lot of Stranger Things edits on TikTok right now, and
Interesting.
that's a vibe.
Okay. Might have to go on TikTok then. Dude, it took me forever to fall asleep last night, so I don't know what happened. I guess I wasn't tired. I don't know. What can you do?
I accidentally knocked. I'm just accidentally. I got into bed and I was like, I feel fine. I'm just gonna take a melatonin to make sure that I fall to bed at a decent hour. And then my nose started getting runny, and I was like, and now on top of that, I'm gonna take a NyQuil so I don't, have to deal with that while I sleep. And so I was out like a light.
Like, anyways.
So yeah,
Super
and I woke up
crazy.
feeling very refreshed. So.
That's good.
And now we get to talk on Marty Supreme. I'm very interested.
Wake us up.
I'm very interested to see kind of where the conversation takes us here. I know we have a bit of a shorter outline than we usually do, but I feel like there's still plenty to talk about within the movie itself.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
interested to see where we ramble to. Great spot to throw in our spoiler warning. We will be talking spoilers on Marty Supreme. So if you have not seen it, we highly recommend that you do
And
so.
a lot goes down, so yeah.
Yes,
A lot to spoil, so just be warned.
absolutely. So you have been warned.
Yeah.
So going right into our episode, I figured we could start by ranking Timmy C performances.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think the conversation around him lately is interesting. I do think it's helping him more than it's hurting him. Certainly, I think the box office numbers for this film are reflecting that. But it's interesting to me because I don't feel like he has crossed that line of he's gone too far, he's too cocky, he's mean or ugly. I don't feel like he's crossed that line personally. I mean, people have posted videos comparing him in past interviews and him now. I feel like that makes sense just for where his journey in film is right now. He is very locked in. And, I think his performances kind of warrant some ego. I think he's doing great work. So I do feel like there's a line, but I don't think ego is inherently bad. I think he's just like kind of at the top of his game and he just keeps building up. And I feel like his attitude is reflecting that. And, yeah. Well, I still like. I see people comparing him to like it was like the Little Women press tour, and he was playing a much different character there. He was supposed to be charming. It's almost like he reflects the characters he's playing at the time, which is a smart marketing move. It's just interesting because I feel like you don't really see people talk about male actors like that a lot. Like you hear people talk like about Brie Larson. So even though she's the Oscar winner, but whatever. He should be an Oscar winner. So, anyways, it's interesting. He's almost getting like the female actor treatment a little bit. So, just food for thought.
Sure.
Why is that phrase a thing? Food for thought. Am I even saying that right?
Yeah. To fuel thinking.
Right. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, we talked that one out. Okay,
Yeah.
so I've seen 12 movies with Mr. Timmy C. You have seen 13?
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to get us started off?
I guess. Didn't want to add anything to the conversation?
No, I mean, I agree. I think it is interesting that he's getting a bit of the actress treatment when it comes to him being proud of his work.
I think his SAG speech really started that, where he's like, I'm just kind of like achieving greatness. I feel like people took that as, oh, so other people aren't, and I'm like, no, I don't think he meant it like that.
I don't know. I understand both sides of it. I remember being a little on the like, okay, guy.
But then you see Marty Supreme, and he was like,
I think he is
in the
great.
middle of
I
it,
think
and
there's
I'm like,
also an element to be said that he is the annoying straight white male in theater that gets all the roles because he's not ugly. And I think that there's plenty of people who are never going to get given what he will inherently always be given. And does that mean that they're not trying to be great?
no.
That's not necessarily what he's saying, but
No.
there's a subtext there.
I guess.
That I'm sure is not trying to be there, but it will always be there. So, but I love Timmy C.
I think to me, it's always been pretty clear that he is talking about himself. I do think there's an interesting conversation around it, just because I do think inherently it makes sense if people kind of compare that and think about other people. It is interesting because he is so talented and worthy of where he is right now, but there's plenty of other people that are also worthy and just not given those same opportunities. So, interesting conversation.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of nuance to it.
Yes.
I don't aggressively feel either which way about it.
No. Wait.
But his movies.
Okay, I'll start us off.
Kick us
Since
off.
I have. Should I do my first two or no? You can
No,
just, yeah, you
you're
can
good
just
with
start.
one.
It's okay. My first one is Interstellar. To be clear, before people come at me, we're ranking his performances in the movies, not the movies themselves.
Yeah.
This would be. Oh my god, this would be in such a different spot if it was based off the movie as a whole. But he's barely in this movie. I wonder if he even remembers being in this movie because that's how little he's in this movie. And this is much more of like a father-daughter movie. Like he's just
the
not.
son in it, which
yeah,
is
unfortunately.
actually a really funny place to be.
Yeah. So unfortunately for him, he just isn't given much to do. So there's not a lot to rank here. So he's here. And that's not really, like that would be said about anybody that played this role in the movie. You're just literally not given anything.
Yeah.
So,
And I
anyways.
will say my number 12 is also Interstellar for exactly the same reasons. Honestly, I don't if I didn't see a list of all of the movies he was in, I would not have remembered that he was in Interstellar.
Yeah. I only remember because I've seen it a few times. And I think on my second watch, I was reminded of it. It was like a Jake Sully situation where in the first movie, a lot of people didn't remember his name for so long, but then by the second, it was officially solidified. Like, everybody kind of remembered his name. So, that was kind of my experience for me. Anyways. I didn't write it down because I was struggling. But my next one is Don't Look Up. This is not my favorite movie. It kind of, like, I was kind of in the middle. I was like, it's okay. Some people really, really liked it and vibed with it. Some people hated it. I was kind of in the middle. I was like, well, that's okay. I don't know if I was like, I wonder how I would be watching it now. Because I feel like at the time, it was like, this is what's happening to our world. So I don't know if I was in the right space to watch this. I wonder if I would like it more or less now. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I'm trying to remember. Sometime this year, there was a talk that we had about, like, you know, the rise in fascism in media and about how it's really important to emphasize the hope element of it and the idea that you can still fight it. I remember that there was a movie that we talked about where it doesn't feel like that, so it's like, so why are we talking about this? For the life of me, I can't remember what movie that was.
I mean, I feel that way about The Boys, though, right now.
No, that is so what we were talking about.
It's so, like, I get it. It seems like a caricature, except it's not. It's so accurate. I get that. I understand that. That doesn't make it good, and that doesn't make it enjoyable to watch. I'm already living that reality. I don't need to be, quote-unquote, entertained by the same reality.
And the thing is, the show...
I don't want to see it again. I already live it.
And that show, just to wrap up talking about it, like, I feel like previous seasons of that show have always had that element, but they didn't rely on it basically solely to push their show in quality, whereas I think that's what's the main driver now, instead of their great cast or great characters or great script that they entwined a lot of these themes more subtly with.
Yeah.
And they lose a lot of the hope element with this latest season, which I think is gross and counterproductive. But with Don't Look Up, which is also my number 11,
we'll have a much bigger conversation on that when season 5
I think
premieres.
at least this is, like, leading with a comedy first.
Yeah.
And I land on the scale of, I don't think this is, like, groundbreaking. But I think it's a fun time with a really funny cast.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, fairly accurate outside of the caricature. If not, like, kind of spot on.
Yeah.
So, but I have not watched this since 2021.
I haven't either. That's why I'm like, oh, maybe I should.
I would be curious to see. But now I love Meryl Streep even more.
Yeah.
Leo is, like, right on, like, the peak of his coming back as an adult actor.
Yeah.
Be curious.
What?
But Timothee. We didn't even talk about him at all. Once again, a performance I, like, could totally forget.
I like,
he like,
vaguely remember
I feel like
him.
this is the character that's, like, most like him on, like, SNL, where he's like, hey guys, I'm not just that twink that was in Call Me By Your Name. I'm also, like, a stoner guy.
He's a lot of things. That's what I feel like is fun about his personality is, like, I feel like it shines on SNL. Like, he gets to have fun there. It's not too serious like Marty Supreme. It's just a good time. I did remember to write my next one down. It's Bones and All. I am going to be so honest, and I haven't seen this in a while, and I don't remember a whole lot of it. I don't remember really loving it or hating it. I wonder if I was, how locked in I even was to the movie. I'm going to be so real. I thought his hair was cool. I don't know. I don't really remember much of this movie at all, so Yeah.
Fair.
Anyways.
My number 10, I have The French Dispatch.
I have not seen that.
He's like decently central to one of the like 5 stories they tell here. And this is one of the first things I'd seen him in. I thought he was fine. He plays this like his story is about like him running a union against like another like the big corporations that for some reason is like being headed up by a woman or something, or like a girl similar to his age, and it ends with the reporter being like, you guys just need to like fuck and get over it, and then they do.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
I don't know, I might be misremembering that completely, but
Couldn't tell ya.
but I know there's a conflict between the two parties, and she's like, just guys, just fuck it out, and then it works.
Okay then.
So okay,
Cool.
but he's charming, and his performance is very Wes Anderson. Like the way he like cadences his lines is like
Okay.
that's Wes Anderson right there.
Yeah, I feel like the next time a Wes Anderson movie comes out and we're able to see it, unlike the Phoenician Scheme this year, I might catch up on some of his that I've missed. Because I've only seen 3. I've seen the Phoenician Scheme, Asteroid City, and Fantastic Mr. Fox. So, I have a few to catch up on. Anyways, speaking of stuff to catch up on, my next one is Lady Bird, which you have seen.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like out of all of hers, I really want to rewatch this one. Because a lot of people say like this is her best. And I just feel like it's hard because it's a film where the mom and daughter are like really, really butt heads most of the time. And I have the opposite relationship with my mom, so maybe that's hard for me to like connect to it. It's still really good, don't get me wrong. It's just like for sure my least favorite of her 3, but I will probably rewatch all of her films, at least this one before Narnia comes out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I'll say it again, I know Timothy in this movie, I remember him, but I don't remember any moments from him that would stick out enough to put this above any of the others on my list personally. So great movie though.
Sure. And that's your number 10?
Yes.
My number 9 is Lady Bird. And I think this being the quote-unquote me thinking it's the quote-unquote worst of Greta Gerwig's films that I've seen
It's hard to
is
say that.
insane.
Yeah.
Because I do think it is so great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think on my score sheet, this is like a 9.5 out of 10. And the other 2 are 10 out of 10s for me.
Yeah.
I do... there's so much I love about this movie. Focusing on Timothy, I will say I do remember him from this movie, aggressively unlike the other ones below it. And I appreciate him being able to blend into like the kind of like a bit of a snobbier role.
Yeah.
Snobbier, too cool for you type.
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel like that's kind of maybe the only performance I've seen from him that's like this.
My next one's kind of like this in a way. Well, anyway.
I don't know. It's just very interesting to see him here. But I think it works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's yeah.
Speaking of that description, I would say there's some similarities with my next one, which is The King.
Which I have not seen.
I have not seen this in a while, so apparently I need to like rewatch some Timothee Chalamet films because I've been seeing that a lot. I would love to rewatch this if you ever wanted to watch it. I don't know who directed it, so I don't know maybe what excuse we might have to rewatch it. Anyways, but I do remember he had some great work in this film. So does, I believe, Robert Pattinson. He's in this film. This kind of gives me the vibes of like what he's been doing his last couple movies. Like, he's really locking in, but I feel like here it's a little bit early where he does great work. But like these latest movies are on another level. Like, he's really perfected it. So it's fun to see that he was kind of working like that this early on. So, and then, seeing it now. So, I remember it being a pretty solid film. And I do have, I would very much enjoy rewatching this. So, yeah, I think you would like it. Very serious, though. He plays, a king in this movie. What? So, and, yeah, he has to deal with some stuff. So, yeah. That's all I have to say on that.
My number 8, I have Bones and All. I liked this movie, I think, a bit more than most.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it's a good movie. I feel like I went into it being like cannibal love story, but then it ended and I was like, oh, cannibal love story.
I just remember this one person on Twitter posting their letterbox logs of this movie, and it was in the hundreds for a year. So that just meant they have it on the backgrounds somewhere. They had it logged enough where you would not watch any film, much less this film, that many times. And it's if people on Twitter were going crazy, they're like, at what point should you not be allowed to log it? Because you're not sitting down and watching it.
But I will say I like this film because I think it's a very interesting look at queer culture, especially in that time. I can't remember exactly when it is, but it's 90s, I want to say.
Early-ish, yeah.
And the idea that it's something you still have to hide. You can have it, but there's consequences to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very interesting comparison. But then I remember really not liking the creepy old guy that follows them, the entire movie. I'm just I could do without this part aggressively. But whatever. His performance, yeah, I feel like he really helped this movie for me. He has such a fun aura, and I don't know. I guess if anyone's gonna make cannibalism look hot, he's up there.
What a sentence. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways. Flip it around. Willy Wonka. That's my next one. Willy Wonka. Some people might come for me for putting this above some other films, but I don't care. I think he was great in Willy Wonka. I think that was such a fun movie. Underrated songs, underrated movie. I feel like y'all scared him and he's not going to do anything fun for the next few years. And I hate that. It's like when Adam Sandler did Uncut Gems and then he was amazing in that movie and then he didn't get nominated for anything. And he went right back to silly films. And I'm like, I can't even blame you. You were underappreciated, sir. And that's Timothee Chalamet here. It's please go back to something fun. You're so great in it. I loved this movie. It was so fun. So, he was great in it. This is so different from so many of his other films. Just even comparing this and Marty Supreme is kind of crazy. But he does great in both roles. They're just extremely different. So, range.
Like it.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 7, and I think I'm officially getting in the weeds here. I have Little Women.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has such a great role here.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's so personable in the way he relates to these women. I love the way men used to yearn. That's so. What's his name? Maury in this movie.
I don't remember. I don't know.
But I don't know. His dynamic with Joe is really.
Joan. That's funny.
I love it, and the way it kind of shifts to Amy, I think, is interesting. Frankly, if he was, I understand it's not his movie, but if this role was bigger, or more prominent in the movie, it might be higher because I think he nails this role. But great supporting role, and really well cast.
You know, I'm really trying hard to find the 2 he was nominated for, because I know he's been nominated for 2. But Wikipedia hates me, so we'll see about that.
For 2 roles?
Yeah, oh, I know he's been nominated for A Complete Unknown, but then there was another one, and I can't remember if it was Call Me By Your Name.
I would assume it was
or...
Call Me By Your Name.
I think too. But I actually would not be mad at all if it was also for Little Women, because I think he was great here. He was a great supporting actor here. So, anyways. Nope, I got nothing for you. Oh wait, yes, it was for Call Me By Your Name.
Okay.
Yes. So, okay, cool. I think he should have at least 2 more than that. I think he should have a supporting actor nom for Little Women, and then we'll get to the other one. My next one I forgot to write down because I was looking stuff up. It's Call Me By Your Name. So, just talking about his performance in this movie. Obviously, I know, age differences with the characters in this movie make the conversation a little bit controversial around it. I still think it's really well done, and I love the conversation around, does this movie explore that the relationship was, like, the age difference and everything was problematic? I don't know, but there's certainly conversation around that, some subtlety there. Was it even really, like, considered controversial at the time? I just think more so his performance is great in this movie. So great in this movie. I don't know. I feel like this kind of cemented him a little bit. I remember a clip from this movie went viral on TikTok when he's, like, dancing with the shoulder thing. Did you ever see that?
I don't think so.
Dude, that was, like, peak TikTok. I will have to show you that after this video. But for me, that's when I, like, caught wind of him as an actor, was from that clip. And then I saw him in stuff and saw him in more stuff and more stuff. So something to be said that it's a clip from this movie, and then he got his first nom from this movie. So, yeah, he does some great work here.
Okay.
It's hard to put it this low, honestly. But goes to show he has a lot of great roles.
Also, I don't think you showed Little Women. But it's fine. We can still just keep going back for it.
It's okay. My next one was actually apparently Little Women. I forgot.
Because we were just talking about it with mine. Because it's my number 7 as well.
Well, spoilers. My next one's Call Me By Your Name. But anyways.
So my number 6 is also Call Me By Your Name.
Okay, cool.
No, I think he gives a really great lead performance here. I think he really captures the situationship of queer love.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I don't think the movie itself takes a stance on an age gap relationship like this,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it does highlight the imbalance that comes from that.
Yes.
I
feel like the problems of their relationship are mostly because of that.
Yes.
So.
Which I think is borderline maybe a more productive way to look at it, where it's like, beyond legality, here's why
and morality,
a relationship
too. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
here's where the imbalance in this comes from. This is why this is like not something to strive or aim for. Here's why it's not going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his performance, like at the end, like
Mm-hmm.
with the rolling credits, I think, oh my gosh, he kills that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love this movie. This is iconic.
Yeah. I also feel like Marty Supreme touches on that a little bit, but we'll get to that. Okay, so I guess I'm ahead now because I skipped forward.
Yep.
So my number 5 is Dune, the first Dune. I think he does some great work here. I love his scene with his mother in the tent towards the end. I think they both do great work there. I love that whole scene where he has his hand in the box and the needle to his neck. Great work there. Yeah, this is like the start of, I think, people noticing, like the general audiences noticing him more. I think the film world had noticed him, before that for sure. But yeah, I think this is where, it's like a blockbuster. He started getting his name out there, so yeah, very fun. And then
Indeed.
look at him in Dune 2. We'll get there.
At number 5, I have Wonka. God, I adore this film so much. I think, like you said, it nails something. Like, I think he's a really deep and soulful actor. But here to have him portray someone that's so quirky and out there, and it's a musical, and he kills the musical. Gosh, it's just such a vibrant movie, and it's like basic like all of the vibrancy comes from this performance in the middle of it. It's just so fun. I love the remodeling of Willy Wonka basically as a male counterpart to like Mary Poppins. I think that is so fun. He kills this role. He has such like a whimsy about him, and he nails it. Like I think it could easily come off as cheesy or like overdone, but it's like a sweet spot, and it's just so wholesome. Ugh, I love it. I love it so much.
So my next one is the one I think he should have, like, bare minimum got a nom for, and that's Beautiful Boy. This is also one you haven't seen, and oh my god, you need to see it. This is like one of the saddest movies I've ever watched, but him and I believe his name is Steve Carell, the the Gru guy. Anyways, or Michael Scott, whatever you want to know him as. They both do great work here, and I just looked, and he didn't get a nom either. Neither one of them got a nom, and that's crazy to me. This is such a good film.
Damn.
I would rewatch it with you, but I'd be a little scared. It's that sad. I'm like, I can't. But yeah. Anyways, great film, great performance.
At my number 4, I have Dune, the first. And I think it's really funny. I recently saw a TikTok edit, and I love that we're going back to Tumblr crazy ships with Anakin and Paul Atreides, where like Anakin is like, Anakin, you're supposed to protect him. And it's like a mashup of like, it's crazy.
Okay.
He's kind of giving princess in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is really fun. He has kind of an androgyny about him here, which I think really works within like a lot of the context, like with like the architecture around him.
Yeah.
And with like, you know, his dad being the queen, his mom being of the Bene Gesserit and having a lot of power there. And he is a Bene Gesserit. He's the first male Bene Gesserit. So, you know, there is a lot of like feminine quality and power with him, which I think is super interesting. And then he gets the, you know, authority and title from his dad.
Yeah.
I think his role is like written really well, and he's like super timid here, which I think is fun. And you'll notice that it's below Dune Part 2. So I think it levels into something even better, which is crazy, because this is a great performance.
Yeah. My next one is A Complete Unknown. So obviously he got his other nom for that. He's I think a locked nom for Marty Supreme this year, if not winning this year. But this is currently his only other nom, currently, at the time of filming this. So, yeah, and I think it's totally deserved. I think overall the movie is pretty good, but his performance is, like, awesome. I also do love both Elle Fanning and Monica Barbaros. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Performance in that movie as well. I know you really liked Edward Norton's performance as well. So, a lot of great performances here where, you know, that makes up for any semi-low points at all. Yeah. And he has a great voice, and he gets to show it off again. So, yeah.
Absolutely. My number 3, I have Dune Part 2. Oh my gosh. Seeing someone so timid, but, like, really powerful, taking authority and, like, growing into that, I think is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cast all levels up here as well with their performances. Javier Bardem comes back in a huge way and is an iconic meme. Zendaya gets to really be a character here, and I think she does great work.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca Ferguson, I think...
She does great work in this movie. I'm, like, the fact that neither of them got Oscar noms as well.
So crazy.
Ugh.
Using Florence Pugh and Christopher Walken
Great
to
choices.
be characters continuing into the next movie. The sandworms, like the visuals... The Harkonnens. Oh my god, and Austin Butler. This is easily my favorite performance from him, and I think he balances with Paul Atreides really well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited for Robert Pattinson to kind of step in because he plays the villain role in Dune Messiah. He plays like a, I might be saying this word wrong, like a scythe? I don't know. It's like he can change his face.
Oh,
It's like different. Okay. So excited for that.
Okay.
And what that's going to look like, sound like, and just how it's going to be portrayed. I'm very excited because I think Robert Pattinson's a very underrated actor as well. So,
but then with Dune and specifically Timothy's performance as Paul, I think seeing him change like such a big switch whenever he takes like the serum and like he sees everything that needs to happen, like he sees the future. Like from that point on, he plays so disconnected from everything in such a cool way. And he has this like coldness to him, which is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he does such great work here.
So that is also my next one. I don't have much to add. But yeah, I think he does great work there. I think Dune Part 2 was underrated Oscar nom wise. So I hope we talked about this before. I don't know if we talked about it on here though. But when we were watching the Lord of the Rings movies, I was looking up like their Oscar nom journey. And at this point, I hope that the Dune franchise has a very similar path because in both circumstances, the first movies got a bunch of noms, got some wins. Second movie didn't get a lot of noms. Don't even know if either got any wins. I think Dune Part 2 got a win or something.
I think you got something.
But then the third Lord of the Rings movie and hopefully Dune Messiah, like blew up even bigger. So, fingers crossed. Dune Messiah is, people say, I don't know about the story. So, there's a little bit of a
Caveat.
we'll see. But a lot of talented people that have their hands on that project.
Yeah,
so
on and off camera.
Yeah.
So exciting. Okay, we'll see. My number 2, I have a complete unknown. Gosh, him as Bob Dylan. I didn't know how much I was going to like this movie going into it because I knew nothing about Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, he plays such a quirky fanatic, but like way more grounded than Willy Wonka. And he has a god complex, which is so funny. Me and Cole sometimes still hit the, who do you think you are, God? How many times do I have to tell you this? Yes. Like.
No, it reminds me of the Little Amelie movie we were watching, and I was like, she's not really God. And then, I kid you not, it was the best comedic timing I've ever witnessed in my life. Literally, like 2 seconds later, it's the scene where she splits the water in half, like fucking, what's his name, Moses? I'm like, okay. Let me just shut my mouth then.
But no, it's gosh, the performances I think really push this movie over the edge.
Yeah.
And specifically his, it's so fun. Gosh, I don't even know exactly who I was pushing for winning the Oscar this year. But he's certainly up there. It
was between him and Adrian Brody, and at the time we hadn't seen The Brutalist, So I know both of us were like heavily pushing him.
Okay.
Which he was really good in The Brutalist too, but I would still pick him. But anyways.
Yeah, I would go
It
with
is
the
what
one
it
who
is.
didn't need AI to cover up his accent.
Yep.
But anyways.
Anyways.
Yeah, so great performances really led this movie in a genre that I knew nothing about. And then
Also, you know what? Actually, let me just point out that Connor's story in Heated Rivalry didn't need AI to do his accent. So, or learn Russian or do anything like like the physicality of, just seeming Russian, like. So, and they got paid like nothing per episode, like $6,000 or something. It was like,
I believe it.
so,
Anyways, your last one. Your top
my last one is Marty Supreme,
Oh
of
my
course.
gosh,
So
it's
is
also
yours.
mine.
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot of people have said it, but I'll just say it again. It's like you see him on this press tour and you're like, what's he cooking? And then like, why is he acting like this? And you see it and you're like, I get it. Yeah, he's like, I'm tapping into something greater. And then you see this and you're like, you are. Like, it's crazy. I personally think he should be a clear winner for the Oscars, even though I adore Michael B. Jordan and Leonardo DiCaprio's performances. I think any other year, it would be such a race between the two of them. But then Marty Supreme just came in swinging. Like, it just truly is something different. It's so... I don't even have the words for his performance. It's so good.
I think it's really interesting. We talked earlier about how sometimes throughout the press tour we've seen like a lot of the character that he plays in the press tour that he gives.
Yeah.
And I feel like Marty Supreme is no different, but it feels like he has kind of been exuding this energy for a while now. And then to see it on the big screen and see it adapt into the character like perfectly, I think is really exciting. Gosh, it just blends into it so well. There's so much, I think, passion in his performance. I think there's a lot of Timothee Chalamet in this performance, which is very bold of him, because obviously the film goes through a lot of his flaws as well.
Yes.
Not to say that those necessarily translate, but for a character that I think is easily comparable, and I feel like it's reasonable to say that Timothy would see a lot of himself in Marty as well, with the ambition he has.
Yeah. Whether or not he would do the same
Yes.
things to get there, probably not. But yeah.
But gosh, it's just electric, and then everything around it. I would say it's very similar to what I was saying about Wonka. Like it feels like the high energy coming off of him, like is like goes through everything that he's interacting with in this movie.
Yeah, for some reason when you were talking about that, it made me think of the movie Him. It's almost like theme-wise what I wanted out of him. Obviously, two different genres there, drama versus horror. And they certainly had the horror element, but in terms of themes, it's very much like, what will you do to achieve your dreams? What links will you go to? And here was just 1,000 times better than him. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just simply on another level, Your Honor. And I'm just so excited for Dune Messiah.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah. Oh, and then I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I think of Denzel Washington a lot when I see performances like this. It's like Denzel Washington is just an actor that's just on another level from everybody. Truly. Even in Gladiator 2, it was, far from a perfect movie, but he was great in it. Highest to Lowest, he does some amazing. It's just, you have good performances, you have great performances, and then you have these performances you can't even describe. They're just, the energy they give is just on another level. And he's got a pretty big ego too, so something to be said that maybe you do need some ego and high ambition and maybe come off a little bit maybe like you're a dick sometimes. I don't know. I wouldn't say they've gone that far from what I've seen,
I would
but
agree.
some people, they say okay and roll their eyes. Maybe you need that energy to like reach this level. I don't know. It's a conversation there.
Indeed. Next up on our docket,
Yeah.
I wanted you to rank the Safdie movies that you have seen.
Yeah. So very quick.
The Josh Safdie movies.
Yes, specifically, which he's been attached to all three of these, but he's only solo directed Marty Supreme. So the three that I've seen, and I'll just go in order of how I ranked them: Good Time, Uncut Gems, and now Marty Supreme. I think it's a very clear ranking to me, and I watch them in that order as well, so it's fun to kind of like see him like perfect what he's doing more and more. I don't know. I kind of went into Marty Supreme thinking I want to say it's going to be hard to beat Uncut Gems, and it is, but I feel like there's something here where he could do that, and then it did. So, Adam Sandler, I love that you did Jay Kelly, and you're kind of getting back into the seriousness of it all, and if that means that you get acknowledged versus George Clooney, no, I still think they should both be acknowledged. I can't truly say that, but I'm glad you're at least being acknowledged here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. So maybe taking this back a little bit, talking specifically now on Marty Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
What were your expectations going into it?
Yeah, I mean, I expected it to be really good. I expected it to be kind of wild because I had seen 2 previous films by the Safdie Bros. So I kind of knew it was going to be one of those, like, you hold your breath and you don't release it until the end of the movie. I expected Timothee Chalamet to be great in this. I was warned that he wasn't going to be a likable character, which I wasn't surprised to hear, just also because of his other movies and his main characters. So I don't know. I was kind of fully prepared from watching his other films and seeing Timothee Chalamet, how he worked this press tour. It's almost like he prepared people for what they were going to get, which I think is really cool. So, yeah. On another level, but maybe like also the ego's too high and you get into some trouble. So, that's what we got. So, yeah. What about you?
I was excited for it. I will say, I think that in a lot of the mainstream, there was a sentiment of this is a ping pong movie. Like even Cole, like I remember we were talking about going to see, and he's like, the ping pong movie, and I was like, how can you be around us this much and think that's what that movie is going to be?
That's funny.
But like, so truly, like it is leading with, hey, sports movie, ping pong, but Timothee Chalamet though.
Yeah.
Feels like the pitch, at least from the trailers.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm glad people were talking like very similar to Heated Rivalry. It's like ping pong is kind of more the setting and what drives him. There's so much more happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But, I remember you were talking about Safdie films and about how they have such like high energy and tension, and it's like insane anxiety throughout.
It's like a panic attack, but 2.5 hours.
And I can only imagine what I would have been like if I didn't expect that going into it. Because you brought up that like 2 weeks beforehand, so I had a little bit of time to be like, you know what, I can see that in the movie. There's like in the trailer, there's a scene where like a car runs into a house, and I'm like, okay, so I know to expect a lot more of that than actually like ping pong.
Yep.
Which is what the movie ends up being.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I feel like I had another thing to say, but I feel like it's gone. Hey, but
okay,
I was very excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in general, how would you say your expectations were met?
Oh, they were exceeded for sure. I mean, I knew what to expect, but I think this is like him perfecting his formula, Josh Safdie. And also Timothee Chalamet, with what he seemed like he was building towards. I think he's kind of perfected it here. But I don't know. I had a really fun time. I feel like our theater had a good time too. Like anytime he said something absolutely crazy and messed up, our entire theater was just like, "Oh my god!" Like they had they just couldn't believe he just said that. And even knowing what to expect, I was the same way. I remember there were certain scenes you gasp, and I'm right there with you. I'm like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, it's like this couldn't get crazier, but it does. This couldn't get worse for him, but it does. Um, oh my gosh, he might actually have a chance here. Oh, now he does it. It's even worse. Like it was so good.
No, I
Just a
agree on
wild
all of
ride.
that.
Yeah.
Gosh, going maybe right into best parts. Obviously Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
It is obviously something we love from this movie.
I think the whole cast here was great. I don't really have a weak link in mind. Odessa was obviously, I think, really good. I was actually kind of debating if I thought her Gwyneth Paltrow did a better job, which is probably a huge hot take, but I'm speaking my truth. And that's not to say Gwyneth Paltrow didn't do a good job. She absolutely did. I just think they both did some great and very different work here. The guy who played her husband, but I know the actor from other places. I just don't know his name. He did great work here. Oh, what's his name? He's
Tyler, the
Tyler.
Creator.
Yes. He did good here. I remember people questioning if he would do good, which I guess is fair if he hasn't done anything else.
No,
He
he
did
brought
some-
such a fun energy to this movie.
That reminds me also of like A$AP Rocky, another musician now turned actor. That's just some great work this year. So, I mean, I would be excited to see both in more places. So,
No, I think it's really funny to see like those two are artists, and then like Ariana Grande is now in this space
Yeah.
and staying in the space for the time being.
her and Tyler the Creator would actually be a really fun comedic duo, I feel like.
But then I think of, because I don't think you saw Amsterdam or Cats, where Taylor Swift was trying to act.
Yeah.
And
Love you, Taylor. You are a great musician, great artist.
great director. Like I think her
Yeah.
music videos that she directs are very, very well done.
Yeah, well, and even I liked her voice acting in the Lorax.
Yes,
She's
that's
great in
fair.
that.
I'll give her flowers there.
Yeah.
But
No, I
those
never saw
projects
Amsterdam.
clearly did not connect. So I think it is really great to recognize when people are able to make that jump from different creative standpoints.
Yeah, and I think, other multi-talented people like Zendaya, obviously she had a little bit of a music period. Still on Euphoria, she's done some stuff there. And obviously she's a great actress as well. I think of Sabrina Carpenter, she's done some work. I'm excited to see her involved in that Alice in Wonderland project that she's gonna do.
I'm very
soon.
interested
Because she's been talking about doing a project like that for years. People are like, I don't know. People were doubting her, and I'm like, don't forget she did start in acting.
she did start
and
acting,
she went
and
on
I feel like as a
Broadway and-
Disney actress, she did really great work. I can't speak to anything she's done on Broadway,
Yeah.
but I feel like even in the way that she like presents herself as a musician, I feel like it's still really fun. Like in her specials, it feels really well performed. Like as a
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to
agree.
see how her stepping into like an actress role
Yeah.
will work. I'm very interested to see what her style looks like now,
Mm-hmm.
because I can only imagine it's shifted after such big strides she's
Yeah.
made professionally, and like the stuff that she's been able to work with. Like she has a lot of like physical comedy in her performances. There's a lot of camp, I think, in the way that she delivers some of her lines.
I
which
think
is
she
so
could be
fun.
a great scream queen. I could see her in that space. I could see her in like a period piece because she has such like an old Hollywood look to her. I could see her a lot of places. So
I can see her on your shirt even.
Oh my gosh, I forgot she was there. Hey. Yeah. Any other musician / actors you can think of? There's a lot, but no.
So certainly, I think the most talked about right now.
Yeah, I feel like we're just forgetting one, but it's okay. It is what it is.
What you gonna do?
It'll be.
But yeah, such great performances. I really liked like the grainy feel of the camera.
Oh my god, wait. We should bring up Harry Styles just a little
Oh,
bit.
you're right. He did. I think he did fine. Like, I think if he weren't Harry Styles, it would be like a fine actor to come and like pop up in movies now and then. I think that unfortunately because he's Harry Styles,
Yeah.
there's just a higher expectation for him to be really good at what he's doing. Which I think is, I don't want to say unfair because he's Harry Styles, but
I
it's
kind of
like,
think it's a little
I'm
bit.
sorry, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, anyways, just wanted to point that out. I don't think he was that bad in Don't Worry, Darling. I think he did
People saying he's bad, I strongly disagree with. It's
I don't
fine
think
if you
he's
didn't
bad.
think he shined.
Yeah.
I think that's valid, but
I think he was aggressively fine.
yeah.
So.
Sure. Going on, other best parts of this movie. Oh, I was talking about the grain. I love how it, I think, really helps feel in time with the movie, and I think it also helps kind of like add to the anxiety of it all. I don't know. It feels like you're watching it on like a projector of like an old-timey projector. Ugh, it's just so fun.
It is. It's hard to do best parts because it's basically like
The
most of the
entire
movie.
thing.
Yeah, it's much easier to do worst parts if there are any. So I don't know. Just everything is amazing in best parts. I give this a 5 out of 5.
This is a 10 out of
so,
10 for me.
Yeah.
But just looking at some of my like truly favorite parts, I would say what are some of the like scenes or moments that really stood out to you? Go ahead.
I would say the 2 times he played the other really talented ping pong player, the one where he lost and the one where he won again, I think were great. Gosh. Both times he went to that house and got shot at, I think was crazy. The ending I think is really sticking with people. His face in the window, I think is just
no, that ending scene.
Oh my
is
God.
so moving. For me.
Gosh. I would say a highlight for me was the dinner scene when he first officially meets the husband of Gwyneth Paltrow's character. I think they all 3 play that really well, but especially him and the husband. They just, oh my God, they take some serious shots at each other. Yeah, but I think they do a really good job at it, even if you're like, oh my God, at what these people are saying. So yeah, I even like the opening scene where he's selling that woman the shoes and he gives her the wrong size on purpose so she buys, I'm guessing, a more expensive pair. Or a better pair, maybe. I don't know what if he was trying to, I don't know. The scene where his uncle tries to get him arrested.
That scene's crazy.
Yeah, like everything after that too when he's like running is great. So
I'm gonna say
the bathtub scene.
I was about to say the 2 moments that like gagged me. First was the bathtub scene. Oh my gosh, what a great literal like tossing of the glove. Like that's when this movie was like, and now things are off the. Oh my God, it's like so unsuspecting.
No,
but then like the impact of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I was so worried for that dog. Thank God throughout this movie, dog is like the most okay person in every scene he's in.
Yeah.
Oh my
my
gosh, but no. And then the arm.
Oh.
And then the
Yeah.
second time, I was maybe the loudest person in the theater to react. Was when, let me make sure I got that character's name right. It's Odessa's character.
Yeah.
What
I
did
don't remember her name,
post?
though. I don't really remember anyone's names except for Marty Supreme, so...
Rachel.
Okay. Right.
Whenever Marty's wiping Rachel's tears away, her fake tears, and then it smudges the fake black eye.
Ooh.
Like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. In another moment that I think works really well, similar to the bathtub, where it's like there's already enough stuff going on that's like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and then that happens, and it like completely changes like everything, and it like, is something that demands attention, even though there's insane stuff happening around it, but that completely changes the situation of what's happening now. It's
I also want to shout out the scene when he's technically committing armed robbery. I think he does a good, like, I'm literally holding a gun right now. Like, whatever he says and however he says that is great. Yeah. That's like a early highlight there.
mm-hmm.
So.
I also want to talk about really quickly. I know you had said early on that like table tennis is like the setting or the context of a bigger film here. On top of that, I do want to say, like, we compared Heated Rivalry to this. In
that way.
But I will say, I think the directing on the actual table tennis matches is really well done.
Yeah.
And, like, the choreography from Timothee Chalamet, I think, really adds to the excitement of it all. And obviously it's talked about as a sport that's really big internationally, and he's going to be the one who brings it to America. But, like, you know, I think the directing really helps kind of see the vision of that.
And I like the scene where he's obviously going to win against that one guy, so he's like, let's just have some fun and do some trick shots. I think that was awesome.
That's a great scene.
Because I was very curious in the trailer. In what context does he hold the ball up with blowing air? Why would he do that? So it makes sense that he's having fun there. Yeah, I think it's great to show where he's at in life too in all of those scenes. Like when he does join the Harlem Globetrotters, I think it's funny. He does very much contradicts himself a lot in this movie, you know, saying he would never stoop that low, and then he does. But he still doesn't have a lot of money even then, so I think that's interesting. It's like he takes it at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But just the directing of that, it is very flashy, but it is almost shot like it's supposed to be funny. And I think that's the whole point, because it's
when he loses to like a walrus.
Yeah.
No, sea lion even.
Yeah, it's like humiliating almost to watch. Even though as an audience member it would be so fun, but we know where he's at, we know where he has how he has thought about this before. Just very brilliant directing and just setting of when all the games take place.
No.
So
earlier in the episode you had talked about how it feels similar to him, with the idea of like, what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want?
Yeah.
Here,
or do sacrifice or do.
I think it's still sacrifice actually, because whereas him talks or tries to talk around,
thinks about
like
talking
the impact of like your body in such a like physical sport. Here it's talking more like the humiliation,
the mental
and, like,
aspect,
what you're willing to sacrifice of like your dignity to like get what you want, especially after having so much dignity to like a clear flaw, to then eventually to get the thing that you need, like having to go completely back on your words and your values. I think that's done so well here.
Yeah.
Down to like the spanking scene, the immortalized ass, as Timothee Chalamet says.
Yeah. Well,
What a
even
crazy
like
statement.
even in the end when he sees the pig, it's like it clicks for him. He's like, for some reason, like, that's too far. He's like, I've been humiliated enough, like, and that's when he decides to argue for a rematch. Yeah, it's very interesting. It almost shocked me the way they were building him up as this. He was so talented and so full of himself. So it almost shocked me, like, the first couple times he super went back on his word. Because it's almost like you wouldn't think someone that prideful would, but that's how much he wants this, is that he will completely humiliate himself and contradicts himself in order to hopefully gain what he wants.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. It's crazy. It's like he wants to win ping pong more than he wants to be right, I guess, all the time.
No, it's an element where it's like a part of his drive is that, like, he wants to be recognized for his greatness.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the underlying motivation for him is to be great.
Yeah.
Which I think is really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Like ultimately in the end, instead of, getting the money or whatever, he sacrifices that to show that he is the best.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene, I think, is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
It's crazy.
Very crazy. Other highlights. I feel like also in this conversation, I'm saving a lot of things because I actually am going to bring this back up when we talk about the other Safdie brother and their
Okay.
entry this year.
Okay.
There's actually a lot of similarities.
Mm-hmm.
But score. You talked that you like the score a lot.
I did. It was one of those that made me think about The Working Man, but in a completely opposite way. A Working Man had sound covering nearly every second of that movie, and it was so anxiety inducing in the worst way. It was like, I just need you to, like, shut up right now, because it was so overwhelming. This one was like almost as if it was almost like thrilling more than it was anxiety
Good way
inducing.
of putting it.
It almost felt fun to feel in a way, which is crazy. It's like you have a lot of adrenaline, basically, and the score reflected that and elevated that in the best way. It also reminds me in a good way of that scene in One Battle After Another, with the car thing. Obviously, the camera shots there and movement were groundbreaking, but I also think the score there was fun and added to the anticipation of, like, where they're gonna get caught, basically, in that scene. So, anyways.
No, and I think the sound and the score add a lot to the feeling of suspense throughout this movie.
Yeah.
So cool.
Ow. He just bit me. Ow. Being attacked. Anyways. Anything
I think
else?
we've talked a lot of positives. Oh my god, can we talk about the insane honey scene with talking about the
Oh my
story?
god, I can't believe we didn't talk about that.
Oh my gosh.
That was crazy. That entire scene. I don't even know. I don't
What-
even have any words.
it's
It was just like jaw dropping, like, oh my god. No one's ever done this before. You're Josh Safdie, you are crazy.
It's interesting, I think, because obviously it's a story that I don't think like has anything to do with, like, the basic plot of this movie.
Yeah.
And then there's the added element of already it's like, oh, this is an interesting story to add into this already very intense story.
Mm-hmm.
And then to visualize it as well, like, committing to it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's probably an added element comparing Marty to that character. Something probably along the lines of skill
Mm-hmm.
and, like, where skill can get you.
Mm-hmm. It's almost a little bit like I don't know if in that moment he felt humiliated, but it's more so like another what would you do to achieve your goal kind of
No,
thing.
I think that's absolutely true on the humiliation aspect of it, actually.
Yeah.
The idea of, like, obviously what was driving him was survival in that case. And then, willing to go through something so out there and, quote unquote humiliating. No, I think that's absolutely why that scene is so important, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Sorry.
Gosh, moving on to, I'm gonna say quote unquote worst parts.
Yeah.
Are there any parts that, like, possibly on the weaker side, or that you maybe wished were more a part of the story? Anything along those lines? I have maybe a couple.
Gosh, I guess I could never really figure out totally him and Gwyneth Paltrow. Sometimes their relationship was supposed to feel weird, but I almost wish we got more of a resolution or where we left off with her character, because it's almost like she was kind of humiliating herself in many circumstances, especially towards the end, where I mean, he literally tried to steal from her, and she still is giving him this very expensive necklace. But then they still, like, that's not enough for them, and they get caught, and then they get screwed again. And she's still willing to try to get another one and risk it all. It's just, I can never really figure her out as a character. I don't know. I feel like I could do an entire episode on just, like, her character.
And I think she really personifies a lot of his hubris,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, she rubs off on him. He rubs off on her.
Yeah.
In such
Mm-hmm.
interesting ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one could easily be like, oh my gosh, they did that in public. That's such a, like, you just got everything you wanted and then you do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's so Marty, and I think Marty has clearly done that this whole movie, and he's clearly changing her to be more like him throughout this movie. So it feels so true to have this go to a dead end eventually as well.
Mm-hmm. It's just so weird. It's like she's clearly not embarrassed, but like scared to get caught with him. But then she keeps going up to him and giving him stuff, and it's weird. It's like she likes him, but almost hates him at the same, like resents him at the same time. Just his presence. It's just a very interesting dynamic. It's funny because I feel like the same way about Teyana Taylor's character in One Battle After Another. She's very hard to figure out for me too, and I feel like I would love to sit down and read articles about people dissecting this character journey just so I can try to understand them better.
I think Tiana
Really
Taylor's
similar
really,
thoughts.
Perfida Jones Beverly Hills is a great comparison, actually.
Yeah,
With her and Lockjaw.
I agree.
Gosh. Some parts that felt odd. I think the opening credits with the sperm, that is an unhinged
That
choice.
was really funny.
Oh my gosh. And then the freaking fertilized egg turning into the golf ball, or not
Ping
golf ball, the
pong
ping
ball.
pong ball
Uh-huh.
was, oh my gosh. That is insane. If you were any other movie, like, this would not work.
No. Oh, my only like nitpicky complaint is that he never actually in a game used the orange balls that they made.
Fair.
I was so looking forward to that. Oh well. I didn't want the Marty normal ball. I wanted the Marty Supreme ball. Oh well.
And then I feel like I was very excited to see Fran Drescher cast in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's hardly in it, which I think that bummed me out. I don't hold it against the movie, but I'm like, come on, it's Fran Drescher. What are we doing? I want more Fran Drescher. That's me. I love Fran. She's
Okay.
the nanny.
It's okay. It's valid.
But I think that's probably about the only wild or risky choices I could say from
Yeah.
this movie.
I agree. And why the heck that one guy just stole their dog and didn't give it back even when he was also faced with guns? It's like, damn, you're determined, and I know nothing about you to know why you would be determined. That to this level. Just get another dog. I don't know. It was a little weird.
He was a
It
cool
was a
dog.
little weird to me, I guess. Okay.
Next up, I have talked a little bit on sports background movies. I actually like in this movie, I think Ping Pong has a bit more, like, the directing I think is a lot more interesting than films that are, like, adjacent sports movies.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think a Challengers. That was a very fun way of
Challengers,
like,
I
filming
think
tennis.
I agree. I think Challengers is a really easy, great comparison, like directorial wise.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to talk about the film's feeling. Do you have another?
Sorry. Oh, just one more thing
Go
is
for it.
that also I noticed both films that just made me connect this. I was like, why is him grunting every time he hits the ball remind me of something? It's also Challengers.
Yeah, because that's what you do in tennis.
But they focused on that audio a lot, even though it's like almost weird to hear a little bit, and when it's repetitive, it's like, I don't know, it's almost like off-putting a little bit, but it's very purposeful that they included it in both movies. So, anyway.
But I wanted to talk about this film's use of a helpless feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a couple of movies that we've recently seen that really try to use a sense of helplessness for their character.
That would be If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You and The Mastermind. Those are the two I can
I would
think
also
of.
tie in Die My Love.
Yes. Yeah.
Those are the biggest ones that we've recently watched that make me think of this.
Although I will say with Die My Love, there's certainly like a something mental going on that can be hard. It's hard to say compared to the other two. It literally is their actions getting in the way of whatever they want. Versus Die My Love, it's a very like mental thing, so that can be hard to criticize, I guess, for me, because it's like when you're struggling with stuff mentally, there's so much unknown and unseen about that, where emotions are different for you. Things like, I mean, for some people, they see things differently and experience things differently because of something going on in their head. So it's hard for me to judge the same. Obviously, her actions are very like crazy in that movie, and they're supposed to come off that way. But who knows what she's experiencing in that moment? Like something small that's not a big deal could be everything to her in that moment, and then therefore, to her it makes sense. It's to her it's justified. So it's hard compared to the other two movies in that list. It's like, I don't know, just something.
But going off of that into like, you know, how does the movie make the character feel helpless, which translates into the audience, and then, you know, kind of justify some of the crazier things that we see the character do.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening. I'm texting my mom. Sorry.
So, I would say most comparable, I'm going to compare this to If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Which I know some people really like this movie. And all of these movies, even if either of us don't like them, please hold your own opinion and let us know why it works for you. Would love to hear that. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You kind of encapsulates where I think a movie relies on the character feeling really helpless, but not, I think, fully going through with showing the helplessness.
Mhm.
And I want to throw the housemaid in here as well, actually.
Yeah. Like, how much of a choice do they have throughout the movie, basically?
Yes. I think choices and agency are a big part of this.
Yeah.
And I think Marty Supreme is a really interesting movie in the middle of this.
Yeah.
Because I think obviously in a lot of these movies, they play on the idea of like there's no choice. Like their choices are somehow being removed.
Yeah, you can't do
and there's-
anything but this seemingly crazy action.
Yes. And there's like typically a bunch of external things coming together, which adds to the sense of, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Life sucks. This is a super low point. And I think that can be a very relatable thing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Everyone has moments at times like that.
Yeah. I feel like maybe one of them days can also be thrown in there a
Sure.
little bit. Totally very different, but yeah.
But I will say, I think to pass off some of the crazier things that happen in some of these movies, I think it is important to show kind of everything being checked off. I don't want to spoil The Handmaid's Tale, but I think that's a movie that encapsulates
Oh, The Housemaid?
The Housemaid, right?
Yeah.
That highlights, I think, pretty well in a script how
Yeah.
to truly cut off all options and like resort to crazy behavior.
I love the way that's done with the narration and literally showing like, yes, I thought of this. Yes, this is why it didn't work. So you as an audience member are like, yeah, you're fucked. Sorry. Anyways.
And then recently, I'm trying to think if there's one that's less spoilery, that's more explicit. Because it's not lost on me that the one I'm going to argue does it really well with Marty Supreme is Led by a Man. Which, I don't know. But I think what I love about Marty Supreme's use of it is that it's himself getting in his own way. Basically every single time.
It's for sure, like, not all the times. Like, obviously the bathtub falling is not his fault. The crazy old man not giving the dog back, not his fault, although they did leave the dog.
He's the one who did bring it to the vet, let it out.
Yeah, so a lot of it
why is he in the
his
bathtub
fault.
in the first place? Because he verbally said this is an armed robbery.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of him getting in his own way and having to go through really humiliating things to get to where he is trying to get to.
Yeah.
In some of these other movies where your character ends up killing themselves at the end, I think in parts if that's where your movie is going to end, I think there's a lot more work to be done to show the helplessness.
Well, it's hard because, again, like, Die My Love, yeah, in her head, it probably feels helpless. But I feel like, more specifically, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, there's probably some mental things going on, maybe. And also, there's certainly an element of her husband being no help. And obviously that can be frustrating. It can build up frustration and anger and resentment. But it's just hard that I feel like we see her in a place where she's kind of already getting to that point, and the hole in the ceiling's just the last straw. But there's like things she could do to get help and get some relief.
My thought is, especially as someone who has a job in the mental health field,
Yeah.
and is seeing a mental health professional,
Yeah.
I think
It's hard.
counteractive to like the idea of like people should get help. Like, I
Mhm.
think it's insane to have
When
movies
you
like
have-
that don't end with, like,
Mhm.
crisis hotline and resources.
Yeah.
I unfortunately feel it reminds me a lot of Woman in the Yard, where the characters just explored a little more their reasoning.
Mhm.
I think you have to infer a lot more in The Woman in the Yard.
Yeah, plus like, financial difficulties can be a thing. Like Straw, I truly felt like she
Straw's another
couldn't
really good one.
like she could not get help and no one was willing to help her. If I had legs I'd kick you, which I wasn't a huge fan of Straw, especially like the end was weird for me. But if I had legs I'd kick you, it's like she, as far as we know, has access through her job to get help. Plus, I guess I assumed, or we weren't given a reason to not assume, that she had at least some finances that she could use to get some help. Or just even like, I don't know, somehow find like a babysitter of some sort to get like a breather, a break. She could have hired somebody else to fix the hole. Like, why did she have to stick with the people who clearly weren't doing their jobs? It's like
And like,
a lot
it's
of
one
things.
thing to like have them try those things and it fall through. I think
Yeah.
that adds easily to what you're trying to do here.
Like
but then to
the
see that not
housemaid.
even
Mhm.
try, and then I
Yeah.
also think they don't go through the work like Marty Supreme to talk about if that's a character flaw,
Mhm.
and like if there's some want to not feel like you have control over your life when it's in a bad place.
Mhm.
I feel like some of these movies don't look at that either, and
Well, I
I feel
also
like that
feel
could
like-
be a decent way to approach the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also feel like, with Marty Supreme, he was you were never supposed to think he was a good person, and you were never really supposed to like root for him all that much. I mean, I think at a human level, maybe you root for him to like make good
Live.
choices and live. But other than that, it's like you're never supposed to be like, these people are so mean to this person. It's like, well, this person's mean. Versus some of these other movies, it's like, I think we're supposed to like these people, but I don't have enough reason to like them and feel truly bad for them. I mean, I feel bad for them that like hard things are happening to them, but there are ways in some of these movies there are ways they can get out of it, things that they could at least try. And then yeah, if we were to see them try and it fell through for some reason, then that adds to the story. But we don't see that enough.
Yeah. I think that's about where I want to wrap up the conversation. If anyone else has thoughts on movies that are like this, or
Yeah.
any thoughts on the movies we talked about, please let us know. I just thought that was an interesting kind of common thread I've seen a little recently.
Yeah, a lot of movies like that.
Moving on, let's talk Gwyneth Paltrow versus Julia Roberts. I think that's an interesting.
So
Okay.
I had heard on, I think, Twitter that apparently Julia Roberts was supposed to play Gwyneth Paltrow's role here, but she turned it down in favor of After the Hunt, which I think in hindsight is crazy. However, they're both getting some recognition for their work in their respective movies. So, I mean, I think she would have gotten much more recognition here. She didn't like totally waste it, I guess, but it is just kind of funny comparing the two movies as a whole. You're like, okay, that was a bad choice. So just wanted to shout that out. I'm glad you put that on the outline. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think that's really crazy. I think Gwyneth Paltrow does great work here. I would honestly probably say it's my favorite performance of hers
Mm-hmm.
that I can think of. Not that I've gone huge into her filmography, but there's Pepper Potts obviously is most of it.
Mm-hmm.
But she was also in Seven. I think she plays a really good supporting role. I think of unfortunately, Shallow Hal. I think in the vein of her being in the lead roles.
Uh-huh. Well, and she's won an Oscar. I don't know what she won for though. That's my thing. So I'm guessing I haven't seen it, or I'm just not tracking that she won an Oscar for it. But she has won an Oscar, I think. Pretty sure. Anyways,
I'm gonna look up what she won an Oscar for.
I think it's really funny on the press tour how I don't know if they're current interviews or if they're past interviews being brought back up again, or she talks about like not remembering being in so many movies or working with so many people. Like how she talked about, I think it was like her and RDJ were talking about somebody working with Tom Holland, and she's like, yeah, I've never met him. And they're like, you did a whole scene with him. And then they're like, you were in a Spider-Man movie. No, I wasn't. She's just so that I think that's hilarious. And I love that not only is she so like not on the internet, but she's just so like with someone
She's
who
a
has
little
memory
crazy.
issues, like it's kind of funny.
I've seen a couple people talk about her brand Gloop, and the way that she talks about it is kind of insane.
I don't even know what that is.
Gloop, it's her company that she owns.
Yeah,
And
but
it's-
like what is it? Is it like makeup,
It's
skincare?
like a wellness kind of thing. Like they talk about like stickers that have a frequency that are supposed to calm you, and it's like, okay,
I don't know
how
about
does
that.
a sticker have a frequency?
I don't know about that.
No,
That's
it's
crazy.
It's kind of crazy. But apparently she won Best Actress in 1999 for Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, that's right. But I haven't seen that, so yeah. I have heard of that, though. I
Wow.
need to see it. So.
I will say I think she does great work here. I'm glad that she got it. But man, I can only imagine what Julia Roberts would have done here as well.
I actually I would have loved to see that. Even though I don't feel like we were necessarily missing out. I think we had a great actress here as well. So it's not like either one of them need an Oscar. They both have one, so it's okay.
Indeed. Next up, I wanted to talk about how the Safdies both made solo movies this year. Both solo sports movies this year. Starring, I think, very different men.
Uh-huh.
But it actually, I think the differences between Marty Supreme and
The Smashing,
the Smashing
Machine.
Machine,
Mhm.
like they're I think surprisingly similar. Both specifically, I think the crazy part is that both sports have huge elements in Japan,
Yeah.
and the idea that it's not popular in the U.S., so they have to go internationally to do that.
Yeah.
Both have, I think, very compelling, like, partner drama going on.
Mm-hmm.
I would say there's also a self-destructive element that they talk about in both. Obviously, The Smashing Machine is about, tackling addiction.
Yeah.
Whereas, that's not the case with Marty Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are definitely heightened dramatic elements in both.
Sure.
I think they're both surprisingly comparable, to a laughable point where they both separated. It almost feels like they both wanted to make a movie like this,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like they had creative differences on how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what either movie is.
Yeah.
Almost. Obviously, I'm adding a lot of context that we don't get, but I don't know. I just think that's so fascinating.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure.
How would, as someone who's seen two of their movies together, how does The Smashing Machine compare?
Gosh. I'm trying to maybe more so it's like character personality based. He brings a little bit more. I feel bad saying that Josh Safdie, I think, is not straying too far from what they've done together, so it's like separating. He's not losing much. If anything, I think this is like perfecting what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that the other brother is, like the weak link. I think he just brings something different. I would say there's more focus on relationship dynamics versus like what's actually happening around him or to him. But there's still certainly some of that in Marty Supreme as well. I just don't think that's as important to the plot, what's happening with his relationships. I think of like Good Time more specifically because there is like the difference between the two brothers in that movie. So I guess I can see some similarities there. I would need to kind of rewatch them, having in mind that he did the Smashing Machine though, because I didn't realize that when watching those.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of surprised me maybe a little bit.
Indeed.
So anyway.
I just think that's very interesting. The Coen brothers, who did No Country for Old Men, recently, Ethan Coen, I believe, just did Honey Don't. And,
Oof.
I don't know. There's something to be said about director duos and, like, one going off to do a little better than the other. I think there's something interesting there. I think every time it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I think both movies... I think The Smashing Machine is a solid movie. I think it's maybe a little over-ambitious with all of the stuff it's trying to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But when we have a whole episode on it,
At least half of
Dwayne
one.
Johnson, I think we both said it was his best performance so far.
Yeah.
And I loved Emily Blunt's performance in it. I recently was hearing a little bit on it, and apparently that's a bit of a hot take for general audiences.
Interesting.
But no, I think she absolutely kills that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to see conversation of her in the award circuit. So at least both brothers have some awards conversations happening with both their movies, which is
we've seen a little bit. I think Dwayne Johnson's nominated somewhere.
There's talks about him as well in the award circuit.
Oh, fun.
Indeed. And then next up, Marty Supreme. What awards do you think it's going to be in talks for?
Oh, a lot. I put it for Best Picture. I think that's a shoe-in. Lead actor shoe-in, if not for a win. Gwyneth Paltrow, I feel like maybe could get supporting actress. I could see that being a little bit of a crazy category just because there's some good
crazy options up there. I think she makes the cut for a nomination.
I think she should. I would not confidently say that she will. But she has won an Oscar before, so they know her and like her. So.
And I would say, on like a PR standpoint, people know Gwyneth Paltrow, so that's like, oh my gosh, Pepper Potts, let's tune in.
Yeah.
To that.
Yeah, and Marty Supreme was such a moment. I think the more you nominate it for that, Sinners and One Battle After Another, I think are all big movies.
Draws, yeah.
And would pull some people in. I think Josh Safdie, I would say, deserves a nom for director. Again, I think that this is a pretty competitive year.
I think it's competitive, but I think he definitely stands in there.
I think it's kind of crazy still that we only have 5 noms. I think just like Best Picture, we should have 10. I think there's too many movies that come out to not acknowledge the main people behind it. I'm one of those that would love if they moved it up to 10 or even just like 6. I don't know, like
Golden Globes might hit the sweet spot with 6.
I know. I kind of like that they do
genres.
6.
I don't know.
I don't see the Oscars ever doing that personally. But it would be nice if we could get some more directors in there. Because I also think there's a lot of female directors that are left out from that category a lot. So hoping Chloe Zhao can pull through for Hamnet. I haven't even seen that, but I do like Chloe Zhao. So, and then it'd be nice if Eva Victor could get in, but I don't think she will. But anyways, screenplay, I think it's a shoe-in. Score would be nice.
I feel like there have been some really iconic scores.
I know.
This year,
I could
though.
see it being left out, especially since it's going to get some other places. But I would love if they got in there. Or sound could be fun for that. I don't really know exactly how they differentiate between the two. But anyways, somewhere in there. Maybe costume or hair and makeup.
I could see that.
And then editing.
Oh, editing, I think
so.
Is going to be pretty competitive in that.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, it's probably between that and One Battle After Another.
Mm-hmm.
What about cinematography?
I don't know. I feel like cinematography-wise, think it's any different. It doesn't like shine for me the way like Sinners does.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's solid, but I would say more so what we're seeing is from the editing
I agree.
there than the cinematography. So, personally.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
And yeah, I really think Timothée Chalamet is gonna get it this year, gang, which is crazy. I remember this whole year, loving obviously Sinner was running the conversation for a long time. Then One Battle After Another came out, and then as far as like lead actor, I remember some people were talking, and there's the conversation that I think is so ridiculous that pick Sinners or One Battle After Another. You can't like both. Insane.
It's stupid.
But
it's like Barbenheimer. The film people are annoying and want to act like they have to discredit Barbie, and it's like, actually you don't. They're completely different films trying to achieve completely different things. You don't have to hate on Barbie just because it's not serious. Well, and it is serious, but it has a lot of comedy that Oppenheimer doesn't. But anyways. Whatever.
But I remember still having a preference for Michael B. Jordan in that category.
Oh, me too. Me
oh my
too.
gosh, how does he not have one yet? He does such great work.
Yeah.
And here he's playing two different roles. And, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I honestly could not be mad if he won over Timothy.
But then Timothy came out and we saw that movie, and I'm like, it takes a lot for me to change who I think should get this at this point. But I do think Timothée Chalamet has earned it if he gets it.
I do think he is given the better performance. I think he's overdue for some recognition at the Oscars, even though he is still pretty young. I think so is Michael B. Jordan. So, I don't know. I do think Timothy gives a better performance and is my ultimate pick for who I want to win. But I could not sit there and be upset about Michael B. Jordan. I would be just as happy for him.
I would,
because I think it's also long overdue for him. So.
And then even just based on performance, if Leonardo DiCaprio won anything, I couldn't blame that either. Personally, I'd
be a little bit bothered just because he already has one, and I'm like, okay. He had his moment of being long overdue, and then he got one. So, like, let these other two people who are also in the same scenario,
I will
get
be
their
much
due.
happier if the other two get it.
Me too.
But
he did. I mean, I couldn't say it's undeserved. I would just be a little like, okay. Anyways.
Alrighty. Reception. Have you seen the scores at all?
Not in a minute. I think they're both still in the 90s.
Do you remember the cinema score at all?
I don't.
Awesome. Let's guess on that first.
Okay. I have no idea the history of what the Safdie films have gotten cinema score wise, so I have no idea what to guess, but just based off the movie, I would say an A.
It is a B+.
That's bullshit.
I think that's crazy.
That's bullshit.
I would have guessed around an A- because I can understand people going there for a different movie than what they get, but it's still so good.
That's crazy. That makes me interested to see what his other films did.
On Rotten Tomatoes, what do you think the critic score is?
I don't know. I just know it was in the 90s last time I saw. I'll say 95 and 98.
It is 94 from critics. From audiences, it is at an 83.
Ew. Audiences, get over yourself. You're pissing me off.
No, I agree.
I don't know. It's one of those things, I guess if you've only seen the trailer, I could maybe understand you were surprised at the type of movie you got. But if you saw any other type of promotion, that's on you. If you've seen a Safdie film, that's on you. If you expected anything different. So, yeah.
Alrighty. And then my last note, I'm slacking because I didn't pull it up, but box office predictions. Let me pull up what it has made so far. Boom, boom, clap.
Because I know
boom,
it's
boom,
like,
clap.
making some noise. I'm like, okay.
It's pretty up there.
And now it's widening its release a little bit. So
Its opening weekend was 875,000. Currently, it has grossed 45 million
mhm.
at the end of its run. And also, I think it's worth saying only like 2 million of that is international.
So
So that
45
could be-
million
Yeah.
currently.
Yes. There is some potential for it to open in other places, I think, internationally. I think is what that speaks to. It does talk about how ping pong is a bigger sport around the world,
Mm-hmm.
and I imagine it just hasn't opened there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a market to be touched there.
You know, it's hard because I just don't know. I would hope they're going there, but I don't know. Is this an A24 movie?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. A24 can be a little quirky sometimes, with their release, where they release stuff and when. You know, because that's two completely different numbers to me. I feel like this would do. Actually, I don't know, because it is pretty vulgar too, even though it doesn't, I would say, from what I remember, represent other countries poorly. If anything, it's the opposite. But it's very vulgar, and they filter a lot of stuff in other places. So I don't know in that sense. I don't know. I would say I think it's gonna pass the century mark. I do.
Really?
I do. I don't think by a crazy ton, but it depends. I would say more confidently if it opened internationally that it would. I think not knowing, I'll just kind of say the century mark.
Okay.
I think if it opened international, I'd maybe go more towards like 125. But I just don't know.
I am going to lock in 70 million.
Okay.
So already we'll have to wait on that.
See.
And then I'm gonna go ahead. How are we doing on time?
If you go through quickly through something. Be
I
okay.
figure we can maybe go ahead and call our draft since this was the last movie on it.
Sure.
Last I have checked, of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies I have on my draft list, that being Avatar: Fire and Ash, Tron: Ares, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Eternity, Black Phone 2, The Running Man, and SpongeBob: Search for SquarePants. All of those scores currently added up are at 396. Of the 8 films you have, Zootopia 2, Wicked for Good, Predator: Badlands, Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, The Smashing Machine, Springsteen:
I
Deliver
have
Me
both
from Nowhere,
Sappy films on
and
there.
Regretting You. You do. Marty Supreme
Yay.
gave you 64 points,
Sure.
which I only have one movie higher than that, which is 79.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 1, 2, 3 movies higher than that on your list.
Cool.
So, of your 8 films, they give you 507 points. So I think we can go ahead and call it, since I don't think Avatar is
Okay,
going to
then.
gross me an extra 100 points anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was thinking, correct if I'm wrong though, but I think I would still win even if I only had 7. And I would probably, I don't know.
mean, you have Zootopia too, so it depends which one you take out, but...
Well, that would have been my first pick anyways. Yours still would have been Avatar, but then you, I'm guessing, would have picked Wicked next? Maybe
Probably.
not. I don't know. So, yay, I did a big one on this one. I'm excited. Yeah, but I think we're both in agreement, like, for next fall when we have Avengers in the lineup, I think we do 7 and 7 or 8 and 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
I also do think that film's not going to do as big as Endgame. It might, because it has been a minute.
I think it'll be more comparable to, like,
But it's
the
lost
first
some...
2.
Yeah, it's lost some people in their faith. So I think Avatar can be blamed a little bit on it not being, or it being a faster turnaround. This one, it's had a break, but I think a lot of people have lost faith in the MCU. and in Doomsday specifically, the conversation's been interesting. We'll see. It's got a long time to shift that conversation, and it already is a tiny bit with the most recent teaser trailer, which I don't want to talk too much about because it's not officially out yet. But we'll see. But I think we're both in agreement. We're like, we'll just take the risk, and because an Avatar and an Avengers film, I think, are the only two that we would ever even consider doing like one more movie or whatever. So I think next time we just risk it and we just do the same number.
Sure.
So
Congratulations. You have won our first winter movie draft.
thank you.
I've won our summer one, so we're tied right now.
I want to thank my parents. Thank you. I hold him. If Burley wasn't sleeping right now, I'd hold him like a trophy, but I'm going to let him sleep. Like, I want to thank my parents. I mean, this award means so much to me, right?
I'd like to thank Timothee Chalamet.
I want to thank Timothee Chalamet. No, I want to thank the animals in Zootopia, actually,
No
for, like,
kidding.
coming through.
Highest
that's
points
crazy.
of the year.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I want to thank Nick and Judy. Love of my lives. Anyway.
Gosh. So I think that's going to wrap up our conversation. Please let us know your thoughts on Marty Supreme in the comments below if you haven't seen it already. You can see that in theaters right now. So until next time, I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.